Alrighty, welcome back, everybody. We are here to talk about Week 12. That's right,
You stole my. That's like my one thing.
I got it right. But
Not
um,
for one thing.
but I we should let everybody know we are recording this on a Monday before
Hmm.
the only good primetime game this year. So as we're
That's
recording this,
true.
nothing. We have no information about that Eagles Chiefs game, but
Yeah, I'll do the thing that I did before, where like if something significant happens in the Eagles or Chiefs game that makes me change my mind about what I say this week in terms of them winning or losing, I'll just put that like right here. Okay, we're back now, dude. Hold on, my fucking yeah. I'm just gonna take this shit out. Piece of shit. Ugh. All
all
right,
right.
now I
So
can only half see, but should be fine.
so yeah,
All right.
we'll start with the predictions for next week, and I definitely do want to speak a little bit about some of the games this weekend because there was a couple things that either confused me or was just I don't know, felt weird.
Fun
But
stuff went on this weekend.
yeah,
Um, But what was I going to say? Thursday night football, Packers, Lions, and I feel like that's the first one that needs to be discussed. How bad they look to the friggin' Bears. Like they barely squeaked out with a win. Like barely, barely.
well, it's not going to be Thursday night because it's Thanksgiving. Remember, there's a couple Thursday games if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you're right. Okay,
30.
so that actually changes everything for me because I was gonna take the Packers in an upset, but I think the Lions are gonna do it this year. They're gonna win on Thanksgiving. They're gonna do it. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. I think the Lions are going to win. I last week it was so weird, man. They were down like 12 points, like, and then they just like, I mean, they just turned it on in the last like 3 minutes of the game. Like that, it was the craziest
Honestly.
thing. Like just but this is what I do want to say. Justin Fields was playing very, very good. So it's like, yeah, like they were playing a Bears team who was like, the Bears are the Bears, but like they look pretty solid. So like, I don't know. I don't think that I think it was more so about how good the Bears looked.
Hmm.
The Lions look pretty bad. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that it's any like cause for concern if that makes sense. So,
I mean, I don't know. I feel like that was definitely Goff's worst game
no,
this year, like without a doubt. Like he
of
threw
course.
like what? Did he throw up 3 picks or two? Might have been three.
I don't remember, but look, I'm not saying they play. Obviously, they didn't play good, but they were able to get it together at the end.
Hmm.
But I just think that that game was more so like, oh, like what the Bears could be versus like who the Lions are, in my opinion.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I don't
Mike.
expect
I was trying.
that again.
Was trying to find the score, but I ended up going back like over a
They,
week.
they ended up
Um.
winning by like five because they got like a safety at the end. It was weird.
Yeah, but yeah, Goff threw two. Or I'm sorry, 3 interceptions. Yeah. Yeah. No, but I think it was probably one of Gibbs' best games. Gibbs was freaking everywhere. And not only like was he running the ball, he was receiving the ball and running with it, like he's a dual threat kind of guy, or at least he was last weekend, if they can continue to do that. And also Aaron Jones is out for the Packers. We don't know the severity, like we said, it's Monday.
Yeah.
But I was gonna take the Packers, but I don't know. I feel like the Lions just have this mentality that this year they're gonna win on Thanksgiving. Like they're finally gonna do it. You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like they have recently, but like I don't remember it.
No, but
Like
but but
like not
I,
the last like 5 years, I don't think.
no, you're right, but I again I feel like it falls into like we've arrived, like we're finally like we're not a laughing stock anymore. Like and like
Hmm.
they still get hyped up for these games because they remember when people were probably like, oh God, the Packers are gonna destroy the Lions. It's a yearly tradition for Thanksgiving. Like I don't know, even if that's
Right.
not true, like people probably just thought that. So yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
All right. Cowboys, Commanders. I feel like the Cowboys also play on every Thanksgiving, but no one talks about it as much.
They do,
And
yeah.
they're all talking about the Lions losing. Um, I don't know. I could get frisky and I could get frisky here. Sam Howell, I didn't know he was leading the league in passing yards. That shit's so stupid. That shit is so stupid. How the hell is he doing that?
I mean, that was like when
But I
somebody
don't
else
know.
who was doing it.
I kind of feel an upset on this one. I feel like the Cowboys are gonna lose. I'm gonna take Commanders.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like I feel like a lot of people are gonna predict that. And I mean, with valid reasoning, because again, like we say, like the Commanders tend to wake up for the, strong games, and then the Cowboys do the opposite. But I don't think that's the case. I think the Commanders will make. I think they can make it interesting, but I don't see a world where they win on Thursday. I actually think that the Cowboys have a little something to prove as well, because a lot of people are starting to get tired of the Cowboys. I mean, we've both been kind of tired of the Cowboys for a while now. Like, America's team stuff. Like, all right, to me they're not, but I get it. But
The Patriots are.
I think they have a chip on their shoulder as well. And I think they want to prove to the world, because they know how many people will be sitting there watching on Thanksgiving. I think they really want to stick it to the Commanders, and I think they're gonna. So I'm gonna go with the
Why do
Cow.
you think? Why do you think there's a chip on their shoulder? They just pretty soundly beat Carolina.
Because all right, well, first of all, they beat Carolina,
I,
but
I know, but you're talking like they just lost to some team, and people are questioning them because they just had a bad loss. They didn't. They
yeah, because
won in a fashion they were supposed to win in.
people have been questioning the Cowboys every week this year, regardless. They've been questioning them
I,
every
I
single
just
week.
I don't feel like this week is anything special though in terms of that.
I know I'm saying because it's Thanksgiving, and a lot of people always say
Um,
every year, "Oh, the Cowboys, you get to play on Thanksgiving again," this and that. I just think that all of that combined with all the talk this year about them, I don't
mm,
think they're going to come out like. For example, I think they would come out a lot more lackadaisical if this was just like another regular Sunday game. But instead, it's like no, it is a prime time game. I think
true.
going to be up for it. So that's all. I don't think it's going to be any crazy motivation, but it'll be
Mm.
something. So
49ers and the Seahawks. So what about the Rams, huh? Season sweep on the Seahawks, who are supposed to be a playoff caliber team. Season sweep. Stafford's back. Rams are looking nice. 49ers look crazy again. They got the Avengers back together, the Fantastic Four. Receivers are offensive weapons that Purdy has. And even Purdy himself looked like a stellar quarterback last week. So I'm easily going to take the 49ers in this. Seahawks are not looking good in terms of I don't think they're looking good in terms of playoff contention, because I know Minnesota also lost, but
well,
I
aren't they
think
six
they're
and
even
four?
now.
They're 6-4, right? The Seahawks, yeah, they're 6-4.
No, I
So
think they're 6-5 now.
no, six and
Let me
four.
check. Oh, ignore what I was saying. They're still kind of riding the 49ers then. But I don't think they're going to beat the 49ers. They just had a reasonably bad loss to the Rams, and the 49ers found their groove again. And as far as we know, they're fully healthy. And yeah, I think they should take care of business.
Yeah, I agree. I think the 49ers are going to win. I think they got their mojo back. I think they're rolling.
Hmm.
Doesn't mean to say that Seattle can't make it a good game, but I think the 49ers will pretty comfortably win this game. Yeah, that's all I got on it. I agree with you.
Yeah. All right. Time for the Friday game, which, damn, would that have been good if, Aaron Rodgers um didn't play the
Right.
first three snaps of the season.
He might. He might be there. I'm kidding,
You don't
obviously.
mean that.
I'm
You don't
kidding.
mean that.
No.
They already named Tim Boyle, who's 0-3 in the league in his what he was drafted. Dude, they're in full tank mode. The Jets have completely given up. This Miami's not losing this game. Like they're giving up. They pulled the ripcord. They want the highest draft pick they can get, and they want to go into the offseason, get Rodgers to 100% and just try to do what they were going to do this year, next year. There's no way that the Jets win this game. And if they do, they're stupid for it.
Um, I agree. I don't think the Jets are going to win. I don't like. You have a lot of great valid reasoning to prove that the Jets are now in tank mode, but
Mm.
I don't know, something about it just makes me like you're right, but at the same time, like I guess the way I'm looking at it is there is a world where they could still make the playoffs, but I think maybe they're thinking in their head, like, okay, even if we slide in, like, is it worth it versus if we can get the best draft pick possible, come back with Rodgers fully healed next year. So you might be right, but I don't know. I have
Oh,
to see it a little more, but regardless, I'm taking the Dolphins.
well, the question is, who gets the tiebreaker between the Bills and the Jets if they have the same record at the end of the year? They're 1-1 against each
Probably would
other.
go to school. I think I don't know. It gets really technical. It gets really technical. That's above my pay
A
grade.
lot of whether or not they should be tanking right now is if like
The
because
bill,
if they need to win three more than the Bills if they don't have the tiebreaker.
but Joe, here's the thing, and I don't know about the Jet schedule, but have you seen the Bills schedule coming up? They got
Okay,
the
that's yeah,
Eagles,
yeah,
Chiefs, Cowboys,
and
and they got the
Dolphins.
Dolphins. Like that's the only reason why I'm like, I don't know if the Jets are entangled yet, unless they're just saying like, "Hey, we know we can make the playoffs, but but even if we do, we're not going to win shit in the playoffs. So let's just try to get a
Well,
good draft."
well, getting second seed in the division isn't going to necessarily make you the playoffs. Let's talk about the
I
teams that
know,
already have a better record than them.
I'm
The
aware,
the
I'm
and
aware,
the three of the teams in the AFC West have a better record.
I
All of
know.
the teams in the North and three of the teams in the South. They are not making the playoffs.
Well,
Broncos have a better record than them. The Broncos have a better shot right now.
okay, but okay, you're right. I'm not saying that you're wrong about it. However, I'm saying it is not like crazy out of the realm of possibility.
I think it is. I think it is at
I mean,
this point.
statistically, it's not. It's factually, it's not. But I mean, I get it. It's the Jets and their team.
Well,
They shouldn't even.
statistically, I mean, like, yeah, if you want to get technical about it, the Panthers can make the playoffs. I mean,
No. That's completely different, though.
I do not think there is a shot in hell that the Jets have any chance of sniffing the playoffs.
I think there is. I just don't think it would even be worth it for them to try and like. I think it would be better for them to just tank versus try to make a swing to the playoffs because again, even if they were to somehow get in the playoffs, they're not going to win a game. So
Even
there's
with Rodgers.
what
Is it even with Rodgers?
I mean, I still think even if Rodgers came back this year, at max they can win one game, at the very
Okay.
maximum. But I don't even see that.
We don't have a sample size to be able to tell yet. So, all right, Bucks and Colts. Who did the Colts play last week? Were they by?
No, they played. I thought they played somebody.
Hold on, let me look it up.
Oh no, you're right. You're right. It was a bye. It was a bye because the last game they played was against Patriots.
Right. All right. So the last we saw of the Colts, they looked pretty friggin' shaky against a shitty Patriots team. I understand the Patriots defense is supposed to be good, so it's like, oh, 10 points, good job, Patriots defense, but I don't really give a shit about anything Patriots these days. So meanwhile, what the Bucks need with Baker Mayfield, I thought he had some good drives and some good passes on Sunday, but they need way more consistency. He didn't even like target Godwin to like the fourth quarter, and then he started targeting him and he was like putting up numbers, like driving him downfield. Like Bucks need to be more consistently like good. They have the potential to be so much better. Like you see some of the crazy shit that Baker will do. Like he'll make a great play and then not make another great play for like another 20 plays. Or make a decent play for another 20 plays. You know, like he can do this, but he just can't doesn't do it often enough in order to win these games. So I think I don't know. I think it's gonna be a kind of low scoring affair, but I'll take the Colts in it.
So I actually think it's gonna be pretty high scoring, but I think that these two teams are very similar to me in a sense of like what you said, like they're very inconsistent, but there are times where you watch them play and you're like, wow, like if they like play like this consistently, like they're easily a playoff team, you know, nothing crazy, but like they're a playoff team. Now,
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting to me, that division that the Colts are in with the Jaguars and the Texans, because I know most of us coming into this season were like, oh, the Jaguars are easily going to win their division. I remember me and you speaking about it because it was like they're easily going to win their division, like really just kind of downplaying it.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty cool that the Texans for sure and the Colts at times have made it somewhat interesting in that division. And so I still do think that, I don't know, like I really don't know where to go with this because I feel like both teams, I feel like both teams are playing for something, even though I don't think either team has a shot at the playoffs. Like,
Colts and the Texans.
no. I'm talking about the Colts and the Bucks now.
Okay. I was about to say I got something to say about that.
I know. But
I think the Colts could go on a good stretch. It depends on who they
but
have. Like I said, I have them winning this one, and that'll put them over 500.
yeah,
So
but
I'm not going
but
to count the Colts out of the playoffs quite yet. Definitely more of a shot than the Jets.
I'm gonna because I don't think that division is gonna have three playoff teams coming out.
At the same time, you got to think they didn't have Jonathan Taylor for the first for the majority of these games. Now they have a better roster,
Okay, but I
and
just
they're
still think the Texans are better. And my
that's
point is, I
that's
don't see three teams getting from that division getting into the playoffs. So that's the reason why I don't see the Colts making the playoffs. I actually really like the Colts. I wish they would make the playoffs. I'm a fan of the Colts, but I don't know. But with that being said, I'm going to take the Bucks just because.
okay.
I don't know. It's a pick 'em. It could go either way for me, but I'm just going to go with the Bucks.
I could really see the Colts making it. It would have to go right. Like I don't think they will.
How
I
can
give them
but,
maybe like a
but I just
25%, but it could.
I don't know how you can sit here and say, oh, if the Jets come in second place in that division, they still probably won't make the playoffs. But you think that the Colts, if they went third place in that division, they'd still make the playoffs.
I do
How?
because you gotta look at the teams that are above them. You gotta look at the teams that are above them. Who friggin' cares? Well, let me check the 5-5.
I just think the Colts fall into that point where if they were in like the Bucks division, for example, then yes, we could talk about them being a playoff team. It's one of those unfortunate situations, but I mean, I don't know.
I mean I could see. I don't think the Bengals are gonna make it. Obviously, I could see Steelers falling off a little bit. I still think they're not as good as their record is.
I think everybody agrees.
Are any of us taking the Broncos and the Raiders seriously? No, didn't think so. The Bills, who knows what's happening with the Bills right now? They have a tough schedule. They could lose. Colts will be above the Bills.
By the way, Joe. Yeah, but okay, and I'm also saying hypothetically, in my thing, the Bills would be in third place if the Jets were in second place, and you were telling me they still want to make the playoffs. But before I finish that, I am
It's a
around.
record thing, not above who.
Hold on. I am around a bunch of Pittsburgh fans. Nobody thinks we're as good as our record is. Just so you know,
Thank God. Thank God.
There's not one person. But
I hope the Pittsburgh GM does too, because I want some moves to happen for Pittsburgh.
But yeah, I don't I guess I just don't understand. I can't see a world where that third place team in that division makes playoffs, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, for sure. Definitely would be a more interesting conversation if Colts win a couple games here. But
Sure.
especially given that there is a matchup between those two other teams this week, but we'll get there. Now we are going to talk about the Patriots and the Giants.
Can I say something really quickly?
Mhm.
And this is not towards you, because you haven't been doing this. But I'm seeing Boston media, I'm starting to see Boston fans, and this is why people hate New England fans. Because now everybody all of a sudden, right? Everybody does this. When their team is bad, you root for them to tank. But the Boston and New England fans are being so arrogantly loud now about like, we want to lose. Yeah. Biggest game of the year. And it's just like, you fucks like are just so like, and I'm talking about myself because I'm a Boston fan in some aspects, but it's like, it's so annoying. Like you guys are so fucking annoying. And again, nothing to do with you,
You guys.
but I know that you want them to tank, but like you're not like I've had conversations with people and I've seen it online where they're like, yeah, we don't care. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Like I'm trying to tank. Like we're not trying to win. And it's like bragging about it. And I'm like, you guys don't have to brag about everything. Like it's okay. And this shit is just getting so annoying to me. But it's gonna continue, whatever. So
Is that good to get it off your chest?
yes, yeah, I just had to get it.
Jesus H. That was such a rant. But what was I gonna say? I'll take the Patriots in this one. I will. I don't think that of all coaches, Bill Belichick has that mentality. And at the same time, you're looking at a Giants team that's also trying to lose. So, I don't I feel like it's important to some of the New England players as well as they put together like a full package game. And the Giants kind of had that last week against the Commanders. They kicked their friggin' ass. So that was their game for that. I don't see the Giants winning 2 in a row. I don't
Well,
think anyone in the world does.
you just took the words right out of my mouth. I literally was going to say I simply picked the Patriots because the Giants win this week would mean back-to-back wins for the Giants, and I
Yeah, and
don't.
that's not gonna happen. They put a little win streak like the Broncos or some shit, but
Yeah, like
yeah,
I
no, and as like I said, as a Patriots fan, it's gonna piss me off that the Giants are gonna win because I mean the Patriots are gonna win because I will be cheering for the Giants. I will be. Like I want a top 3 pick. I want either um what's his friggin' fit? Well, obviously Caleb, um, then that other guy Drake May, and then or Marvin Harrison Jr. Any one of those 3. But I've heard rumors where like Bill Belichick gets like the second pick in the draft and trades it for like 3 picks in like the third round. Like he will not actually draft an O lineman or a punter with a second overall pick, but he would do that. He would trade it for more picks later in the draft. He would actually do that, and I'm kind of scared of that happening now. But like if we get a top like 3 or 5 pick, like I will be sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor, like watching like when we're on the clock. Like, are we gonna actually pick someone, or are we moving this fucking trade? It's gonna be interesting, very interesting.
for sure. We'll see.
Ah, jeez. So we got to talk about it, huh? We got the Bengals and the Steelers. Dude, that was one of the worst games of my life. I was in public watching it. I was at work actually. I had it on my phone, and I have. I mean, just a football fan, right? But additionally, I have Andrews on my team. I have Burrow on my fantasy team,
Uh,
and I was sitting in the back. I was sitting in a room with a bunch of people. I shouldn't have been watching it. So I'm just sitting there watching this shit. I can't make a sound. I can't like do anything in frustration. I just have to watch it and accept what's going on. And it was so rough because even Lamar went down at one point. Odell went down at one point. Dude, I was just sitting there like, this is so bad. I want to just go home. So, Bengals season, it's over. Like, let's not try to sugarcoat anything here. Um, the Steelers should be able to pull off the win without Joe Burrow at the helm. The backup didn't do horrible, but it's just not the Bengals anymore. It's gonna probably end up looking like we saw what the Bengals looked like without before Burrow, right? I don't think it's gonna look like that because they've improved in a lot of other areas as well. But yeah, no, I don't see them coming out with a win. And the other thing I was gonna say is the they have tried everything to repair that offensive line, man, and it just hasn't worked. They got Orlando Brown from the freaking Chiefs. They poached Orlando Brown, and Burrow is still getting pressured like friggin' crazy. And I'm pretty sure that this injury didn't have to do with getting hit because it was just like kind of when he released the ball. But that's just like on another note. Obviously, I like to think that he heard it earlier in like last game or something. Like, because we saw it the cast before, obviously, so he was feeling it before. Um, it's just too much, or I'm sorry, too little from the offensive line, and it's just ridiculous to me that um the management is treating the situation the way they are.
I'm laughing because I also watched the worst NFL game of all time yesterday, but it was the Steeler game.
Oh, that's fair.
That was
You thought I was about to come out and say the
I thought the whole time you because we were talking about the Steelers, I thought you were gonna. I was ready to talk about it. I was like, oh my god, like I sat right here on this couch, very excited for this Steelers Browns game, and I was just watching it, and I just wanted it. I wanted it to end, and also like I just felt so bad for both defenses because like they were only getting like a 2 second break, man. And then it was like every single time the offenses like went, like they would either run it or they would do like a screen pass. And whoever got the ball on offense from either team was just getting destroyed by someone on the defense side. Like every single tackle, like I flinched because I was like, oh my god, like that guy's about to get carted off. Like there was no offensive line from either team. As soon as each QB snapped the ball, they were desperately running for their lives. Like it was like scary. I think they only combined. I think the Browns QB and Pickett only combined for like 200 something yards in total. I mean, it was disgusting.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, this is what I will say. Like, I do think the Steelers will win, but I still think it's going to be a really close game because, like, dude, I mean, I'm not even trying to be like dismissive or funny. Like, at this point, man, you just have to score 2 touchdowns against the Steelers. And
yeah,
or either that or like a touchdown and 2 field goals or something. So that's why I'm like, I really wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals did win. Like it wouldn't to me, it wouldn't be like it would be an upset technically, but it wouldn't at the same time. But however, I'm gonna go with the Steelers.
I feel like the Steelers find creative ways to win games, though. I feel like their offense doesn't necessarily have to do well to get them those points, whether it's from a defensive turnover or a turnover or something like that. But
Yeah,
what was I gonna say? Yeah, I didn't even realize that the Browns were starting a new quarterback. I wonder why they're not going with PJ Walker. I'm not sure if he's hurt or anything, but
I don't know,
I
but
mean, I get the guy got a win, but like that was a really bad performance. And honestly, the Steelers should not be happy that they lost that game. They had that one.
and one more thing too on it, like I've had a couple talks with some people, and they think that it's just such a shame, man, that their defense is this good because their defense is really really good, man, and I just feel like they're ruining it.
So we don't have to talk about this one for long because it's Panthers and Titans. But I'm gonna take the Panthers. I don't know. You got to remember they're not tank, right? Like if they were tanking, if they had their pick, I wouldn't take the Panthers. But they're not tanking. They want to find a system that works. Adam Thielen has become such a good receiver for Bryce Young. He has to utilize Hayden Hurst more. Hurst is an unbelievable tight end, in my opinion, or not unbelievable. Let's dial it back a bit, but definitely is better than what he's been doing. He hasn't been utilized properly, and that the Titans are the perfect team to just bulldoze. They have not been feeling it. Derrick Henry is off this year. Definitely off of his out of his prime at this point for sure. Um, yeah, and still questions at quarterback for Tennessee. So yeah, no, I have the Panthers winning.
I think you have such a hatred for Tannehill, but I will say
I mean, Tannehill's not even playing. It'd be better if the Titans won because that would mean that Tannehill was the problem.
that's fair. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with you simply just because, like, I don't. I mean,
He's an edgy boy.
not
Who's an edgy boy?
not to like sound like this, but I was like, I really don't care enough to like really like do my due diligence to like do my research on this game. I'm sorry if that's not okay to say, but
I just feel like it's a game similar to how the Falcons lost to the Cardinals. It's the Titans' game to lose. Like they would just do that. You know what I mean? That's a lot of it. Um, but a lot of it, like I said, also is Carolina's not trying to tank. Titans might be trying to tank more than they are, honestly, at this point, because obviously, like I said, they're trying to find. It's kind of the beauty of not having your first overall pick or first round pick, right? Is like you don't really give a shit about tanking. So you're gonna give 100% effort every single week. Now they suck ass clearly, and that's why they are 1-9. But they're gonna be putting 100% effort against this team that I don't think will have it all there because
You
they're
know
trying
what?
to figure shit out. You know what I mean?
You know what I think is pretty funny is like beginning of this season, like everybody was only talking about one possible team tanking, and that's the Cardinals. And now there's like five teams like in contention that are like actively trying to tank.
And see, that's why I would always talk about the Cardinals at the beginning of the year and not like, just write them off. Like when I see a matchup, be like, all right, so automatic dub for that team. It's because I'm like, yeah, the Cardinals aren't a good team, but like they're not the worst team. Like there's a few in contention here. You got
I
like
mean,
I thought the Falcons were gonna be down there. I was wrong, but I thought the Falcons, the Panthers, the Bears. I don't know. I thought the Bears were gonna do good. I scratched that, but Packers. I thought were gonna be down there.
I mean, but
And
but, but
Cardinals.
wait, but wait, let's not. They basically still are the worst team. Like they're 2-9.
I don't think they're the worst.
But no, I'm
I feel like
talking
we argue
record
this every week,
wise.
especially with Kyler Murray back. Especially with Kyler Murray
No,
back.
I hear you. I agree with you. But I'm saying like you're making it seem like it was like oh like no like they still very much can like end up having the number one draft pick. Maybe not. Maybe
I mean,
not.
they could, but
But I mean I don't know. I hear what you're saying, but to
I don't
to,
even
to
know what I'd do if I would trade it. I would trade it. I've really liked what I've seen from Kyler Murray.
oh come on. You are
Do
you
you
be
know? Do you know what you could get for that pick? Do you know what you could get for that pick?
look, I hear what you're
We just
saying.
saw first round. I mean, first overall trade last year.
Hold on. I hear what you're saying, but this is one of those instances where you can't. This is a quarterback that you can't do that with. It's one of those. This doesn't happen every year in the draft with somebody like a Caleb Williams. This is not. It's a different player. That's all I'm saying. Like any other situation, I would agree with you, but this is different. I'm not going to say it's the same thing as like if Wemby was the first pick, but it's close enough to that angle where it's like you got to take the risk.
I think it says a lot that they didn't move or even wasn't discussion about moving Kyler at the deadline. I think they because they don't want to lose him for nothing, right? I think they kind of want to keep this guy, and he's not like an Aaron Rodgers to Zach Wilson thing. It's not like he has all the experience that he's gonna help Caleb Williams were they to draft him. I think it speaks a lot that they kept him, and the fact that he's putting together some good numbers. He's looking really good out there.
Look, and that's great. You're not wrong about that. And like maybe they'll be like a good team, but at this point, if you're the Cardinals, like you're trying to build up like to be eventually like a really, really good team. And I just think that settling with Kyler, as much as I do like Kyler, like you're just gonna be a middle of the pack team. Like, why not? You have nothing to lose. Why not tank and take the chance and see if Caleb Williams is this generational player? You have time. You're planning on you could still get Caleb Williams and be bad for the first few years and still get some really good draft picks, then move those assets around. I understand what you're saying. Like, I think if they keep Kyler, they're gonna be much better. They could even be a playoff team potentially. But that's their ceiling with Kyler. So that's all
Right,
I'm
okay.
saying. You know what I mean? But we'll see. Shout out to Kyler.
Well, I don't. The last thing I'm going to say on it is it won't be their ceiling if the GM makes a good move with that first overall pick.
I disagree because
You,
I just think
you trade that shit. You trade that shit.
I mean
So it's so hypothetical. So hypothetical. You trade that shit for Jefferson.
they're not winning the Super Bowl. They're not even close to a Super Bowl team still.
I'm just saying you could get along with that.
You
But
can, but my
anyways, let's
point is
move on. We spent.
you will forever be a middle of the pack team, regardless of what you get in return for.
I don't think so, but we'll move on. We'll move on. I think Kyler's a little better than that. Um, Jaguars Texans. So this, I'm not sure if you're aware, is for the first overall or first in that division, this game.
I know.
So for storyline purposes and the fact that the Texans won earlier this year, I'll take them. Um, Commanding win for the Jaguars. Christian Kirk didn't. I feel like whenever one player does something like Christian Kirk goes off, Ridley does nothing, and then vice versa when Ridley goes off, Kirk does nothing. Um, but no, solid win against the Titans. What was it, like 34-17, something like that, where like, your defense played average and your offense played really good. And then you have the Texans who didn't, you know, people were kind of talking shit about CJ Stroud after this week. And I was like, first of all, he still won. Just because he didn't throw for like 300 to 400 yards doesn't mean anything, really. Oh, like he threw a pick. Ooh, I don't care. He's still putting up these incredible numbers. And I think that they're just getting better. I think that they're on a roll, and I think they're gonna take down I think they're gonna take down the Jaguars.
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, I think the Seahawks were playing the Ravens, and I was like, yeah, as much as I love the Seahawks, like I think that this is going to be the moment
Oh,
where we
yep.
see they're not there yet. And I think that exact thing is going to happen with the Texans this weekend. Not this, I mean, the Texans can still make the playoffs or whatever, but I think the Jaguars are going to pretty soundly be. I'm confident enough to say that I think it's going to be a blowout. Um, I just think the Texans are not at the Jaguars level yet. I don't think they're close to it. And I think the Jaguars are gonna have a chip on their shoulder because they're seeing the murmurs that people are like, oh, like this is the moment where the Jaguars really have to put their foot down and be like, we're here now officially, like we're the big dogs now. And as someone who thinks that they're going to go to the AFC Championship, I expect them to do that. So
Yeah, this is really gonna separate them from Baltimore if they end up losing this game, because you can easily compare this is great comparison. You can easily compare this game to the Seahawks Ravens in terms of like where the team where like the reigning team is, like in terms of like I can attend a Super Bowl, to where the other team is, where it's like we're feeling frisky but just not quite there, like as in the Texans.
yeah, even
But
though I am someone who puts a lot of stock into like that whole theory of like Lamar Jackson when he plays NFC teams is like
yeah.
dirt. Like I actually do think that's a real thing because he like his style of play. Like I genuinely do believe that. But yeah.
And you do realize that if the Colts win and the Texans lose, which you're predicting the Texans lost, if the Colts end up coming out with a win, they're tied for second in that division.
Okay, do you realize there's like 6 weeks left? Like you're aware of that, correct?
There's plenty of time for the Colts to do so. Hey, I'm just
No, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying like it's not week 17. You know what I mean? Like, it's week 12.
mm,
So we'll see.
all right. Saints Falcons. We don't have to spend too much time on this. I'll take the Saints on it, I guess. The Falcons, they got to show me something. Um, I think their last game was their loss to the Cardinals. I can't take them after that. You know what I mean? Like it was a great game for Kyler Murray. Love to see it. But I can't take the Falcons until I see something different happen there.
I'm gonna take the Falcons just because like I don't know why I just don't like the Saints. And I and
That's
I
fair.
grew up and I grew up loving Drew Brees. Drew Brees was my favorite player. I used to wear his jersey. But ever since Drew Brees retired, I hate the Saints for some reason. I genuinely can't pinpoint why, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the Falcons.
Um, actually, there's actually a lot of injuries for the Saints this week. You got Michael Thomas and Marshawn Lattimore questionable. That's a huge blow in Lattimore. And Derek Carr is in concussion procedure. Um,
Yeah,
I'm
so
not. I think he might play, but I mean that's just
we can move
one
on.
asshole to another.
Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah. Um, Rams and Cardinals. Rams are coming.
Rams might be 5-6 after this week. Oh
Yeah,
my God. No.
they're coming. They're coming, baby. I'll take the Rams. I think they need a statement game. It's very it's definitely a Cardinals team that's feeling some vibes with everyone being back to full health, being a healthy team that won a game right out the gate. But I don't know. I feel like the Rams are gonna want to make this a statement game where it's like we're probably not going to make the playoffs this year. We're not going to make the playoffs this year, whatever. But like Stafford to Nakua, Stafford to Cup, the new running back, I forget his name at the moment. This is your new LA Rams team, and we will be growing, and we will get better, and we will try to sniff the playoffs next year.
I mean, that's great and all, but like, I'm just at it. The way you talk about this Rams team, and I don't think you're necessarily wrong in some sense, but like, they're gonna need to get a new quarterback. Matt Stafford is not young, and with his injuries, like, I don't know how much longer Matt Stafford plays for, or even at a high level at that. But anyways, besides the point, I'm gonna take the Cardinals just because just because. Like,
I mean, Matt Stafford isn't looking. I wouldn't say like he's looking bad though. He's still
I
looking
never
pretty
said
good.
that.
It's just the injuries thing, right?
Wait. When did I say that? I didn't say he's looking bad.
Um,
No, I said how many more seasons do you expect him to play with all of his injuries and with his age? All of the statistics show that like it's gonna be a downward spiral and it's going to happen pretty rapidly. You know what I mean? Like that's my only thing where it's like the Rams have to keep that in mind. I'm saying within the next year or two, like, hey, like, I don't know if in 3 years Matt Stafford is going to be. I can almost assure you Matt Stafford's not going to be Matt Stafford. You know what I mean? Like,
I think he has a little more long as long as like the injuries stay within like a reasonable level. You know, I feel like
no,
he'll be around a little more than
Joe,
that. He
he's
definitely, I don't think he'll be himself for sure. I mean, he's falling out of himself now, but I still think he's an above average quarterback.
I hear you, but usually besides like the top tier quarterbacks, when you get to
Mm.
your late 30s, you just freaking fall. And I'm saying, especially with the injuries he already has had. I'm not saying he's going to get any more, but with the injuries he already
Mhm.
has, I just don't. I mean, they're going to have to get a new quarterback soon. But I'm going to take the Cardinals just because.
All right. Broncos, Browns, Broncos. What the hell are they doing right, huh? This is
This is a huge
one run
game.
for them. Yeah, it honestly is.
No, it
And
really is.
yeah, no, I mean, either of these teams winning would be huge. I mean, Steelers on a bye, or no, they're playing the Bengals.
No,
So
they're playing.
Steelers are probably going to win. It's huge for the Browns. They got to get a win out of this. And for the Broncos, they still have some playoff hopes.
Wait, you
They're
said the
five and
Browns?
five, aren't
You
they?
mean the Raiders?
No, the Broncos. The Broncos have playoff hopes. They're 5 and 5.
Never mind. I thought you were
No, they're
talking.
on a 3-game win streak. They're going nuts right now.
I'm away.
Um,
No. I know. I thought you said the Raiders in the beginning. That's why I was
oh,
confused.
not sure why. Huh. Hold on, let me look at something really quick and then I'll get back to you on what I think about this game. Um, yeah, okay, I'll take the Broncos. I'll ride the hot hand on this one. And what I was looking up there, I was like, I know they're on a win streak, but what defenses did they beat again? Oh yeah, just the Bills and the Chiefs. So obviously, I think the Browns defense is better than the Chiefs, certainly better than the Bills with the Bills' injuries. I think so. I
Okay.
think so.
Okay. All right. I'm not mad at that.
I mean, look at the Chiefs' offense, right? And they have what, one more win? The Chiefs' offense is stories better than the friggin' Browns' offense, and they only have one more win. So I that's all I must say. Anyways, um.
So you think the Chiefs are a one win better team than the Browns?
No, absolutely not. I'm just saying that I think that because it's no secret that the Chiefs' offense is a million times better than the Browns, that the fact
But
that
the
the difference
Chiefs,
between them is only 1-1, is only one game, just goes to show how that the defense is better for the Browns.
I don't think that. I mean, you could be right, but I don't think that proves that because the Chiefs' defense, you could argue, has been doing better than the Chiefs. The Chiefs' offense hasn't looked the greatest this year. But anyways, nevertheless,
In comparison, but
I'm
anyways, and
okay. Okay,
I'm just gonna ride the hot hand with Russ into those guys.
I'm gonna take the Broncos, not because I think they're gonna like look good, and I don't. I mean, I don't put any stake into their game versus the Chiefs personally, but like I get it, they are a legit contender now. But and
Mhm.
when I say contender, I mean to make the playoffs. But
Yeah,
Just seeing how the Browns played yesterday, I just I don't think they're going to do well with that if they continue with that
that's
QB.
true. Yeah.
I
Especially if they use that other quarter. I forgot that other quarterback was starting too. So
yeah.
I
So
think they should use PJ Tucker if they they do have playoff hopes. The Browns, they're in a playoff spot pretty soundly at the second. So I don't know why they're putting in this rookie like they've given up hope. PJ Walker beat the 49ers. Like he did good. So I don't know why they're starting this guy. But
we'll see.
hopefully they go back to PJ Walker this week. For their sake, hopefully they go back. I don't know who I want to win this game. Um, both would be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Um, Bills Eagles, it's almost to the point where I want to say we don't even have to talk about this friggin' Eagles masterclass. Um, of course, everyone barring that nothing happens to any of the Eagles players in the Chiefs game. But yeah, this should be pretty easy for the Eagles. You got a Bills team that, though very talented, is completely doubting themselves right now. And they are going to be fighting for their lives. But Josh Allen, he's gonna make some bad decisions. He makes bad decisions when he's fighting for his life. It's not like the Mahomes fighting for his life where everything's just like perfect. Josh Allen is not Mahomes. He cannot do that. In fact, he's going to do the opposite and probably turn the ball over like 3 or 4 times. That's what I think is gonna happen. Eagles is gonna have a field day. Are gonna have a field day.
I'm I don't think the Bills are gonna win, but I
Wow.
do think it's gonna be a close game.
He believes. He believes. Dude, you're never a believer. Let's hear why.
I don't think you heard me correctly.
You think the Bills are gonna win, but
No, I said I don't think the Bills are gonna win. But
oh, okay.
but I do think it's gonna be a close game, and I actually do think Josh Allen is gonna do well. Um, but I don't know. I think it's gonna be one of those games where like Buffalo looks like they kind of have it, and then Philly just does some weird shit they've been doing all year where they end up winning. And I'm
Mm.
also personally, again, I could look like a dumb idiot with a like a clown, but I'm assuming that it's this Monday night game isn't going to be the game that everybody thinks it's going to be, and I think that the Eagles are going to want to come back the next week and stick it to the Bills. So yeah, I'm going with the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean I could see one of those games where like the Bills have it and then lose it, but I just think that Josh Allen is overthinking everything and he's gonna be like, oh, I gotta make some big plays like to beat the Eagles and change everyone's minds about me. And he's just gonna do some stupid passes that are supposed to be like Herculean. Um,
We'll see.
Chiefs, Raiders, Chiefs. Enough said, right?
Yeah, Chiefs.
Okay. Ravens Chargers, pretty much the same thing. So unfortunate with Justin Herbert. I cannot believe they lost that game. Ravens though lost Mark Andrews. I think that is a bigger deal than people are making it out to be, just because it's overshadowed by Burrow also
I don't
getting
know.
injured
I'm
for the
seeing.
year.
I mean, people seem to be making a pretty big deal of it.
I mean,
Again, I haven't been really on social media, but just from the sports shows and stuff.
yeah, everywhere on social media though, it's all Burrow. And the thing is, you're losing a player that can do a lot for you, whether it's blocking, whether it's receiving, whether it's even rushing. And it's been Lamar's guy since day one. He's been there since day one. None of the other suckers have been there since day one. The Andrews Lamar connection. They were showing all these stats of like Lamar when he's on the field versus off, and
Yeah.
it's been pretty nuts. So I think that the Ravens, I think they're gonna win. I think they're gonna be in a better place a couple weeks from now when they gotten used to life without Mark Andrews. But it's definitely a huge blow to their Super Bowl chances, in my opinion. I don't think it like knocks them out. Obviously, they're doing really well. And we have no reason to believe that. But it's a challenge. It's definitely gonna be a challenge for this team.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really have much more to add. I think the
Yeah.
Ravens win too.
And then another Filbert matchup for Monday. Vikings, Bears. Um, disappointed, very disappointed in the Vikings. I mean, I won't get too mad because it's hard to win 6 in a row. You know, they had already won 5 in a row, and you're going against another team that's feeling hot. They won what 2 or 3 in a row at that point. So I won't. The only reason I am slightly upset about that loss is because it is the Broncos. But you, I mean, it's whatever. I'll take him in this game. The Bears looked really good against the Lions, but I don't know. I just don't. I see that being like kind of a one-time thing.
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like the Vikings
absolutely.
are going to take care of business.
Um, for me personally, like I don't think anybody should be upset about the Vikings winning game streak like being lost because like I feel like even though they were still winning, like deep down, like the second the second that Kirk Cousins went down, and Justin Jefferson had been out for a little bit too, like it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, like they were winning, but I just feel like everyone kind of knew deep down, like this isn't like, okay. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just a very unfortunate turn of events for the Vikings because you do think about what could have happened if they started turning it around and everyone was fully healthy, but
Mm.
we won't know. But yeah, with that, I'm still going to take the Vikings. I agree. I think that Bears game was a one off, and they played arguably one of their best games of the season, and they let up 17 or 16 points in the last 2 to 3 minutes. So
Yeah.
I'm taking the Vikings.
Yeah, and what's interesting is listen to this. So we're talking about like the Vikings, like not winning these things, but I would be at this point surprised if they didn't make the playoffs. You got to look at their conference. You got in terms of wild card teams. So we're not even counting the Saints, who are the top of their division and have a worse record than the Vikings. You got the Seahawks 6-4, Vikings 6-5, and the Cowboys 7-3. Those are your wild cards. No, and so the Vikings are 6-5. No team right now in that conference has 5 wins. So they have a 2 game advantage on
No,
literally every other team.
they
And the
no.
other teams, we're talking the Rams, the Packers, the Falcons, the Bucks, who they just want to win their division, honestly, with that record, and the Commanders. And I see the as long as Dobbs didn't just ball out the first 2 games like Daniel Jones and then just start sucking ass.
No, you know what? Like I said, maybe my what I said before made it sound like I didn't think the Vikings were going to make the playoffs. I do still think the Vikings would probably make the playoffs, but I mean,
I
like,
think so. So this is what I think. I think in the playoffs they could be a problem for a team with a bad defense. Now, unfortunately for the Vikings, all the teams that are in the playoff spot in this conference have a pretty damn good defense. I feel like Lions, Vikings, and like Vikings Saints would be their best matchups were they to make the playoffs. I feel like they wouldn't beat the Seahawks. They wouldn't beat the Niners, the Cowboys, the Eagles, maybe the Seahawks, but I'd probably take the Seahawks in that. I just see a better matchup with teams with a not elite defense, and most of the best defenses in the league are in the NFC. I feel, other
yeah, I
than the
mean, look,
Steelers and the Browns.
I mean, it's always great to make the playoffs, right? Or even if you try to sneak out a win, that's always great. But
Mm.
I will say though, it would be pretty funny if if they won more games in the playoffs this year than they did last year. But anyways, I do think it's kind of just prolonging like ending this season for the Vikings in a season where it's like it's
Mhm.
just like shit, like there were so many highs and lows. Like I at least as a Vikings fan would kind of just want it to be over. You know what I mean? Like I would just
You call yourself a Vikings fan?
I said if I was a Vikings fan,
Oh,
I would want the season to be over, like as soon
that's
as
fair.
possible. But I get it. I mean,
Yeah,
hey, you still want your team in the playoffs, right? I mean, obviously, anything can happen.
dude.
But
Whatever team wins the NFC South is getting absolutely smoked the first round.
I mean, they basically should just have 4 teams. It literally should be the Lions, Niners, Eagles, and Cowboys, and that should just be the playoffs in the NFC.
Yeah, literally. they don't need to do anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is that, I assume, unless you have something else to add.
I thought we went way longer than the time says, but that was good. That was a good episode. Yeah, I got
No, we talked for a minute.
yeah, I got nothing else to add. We keep saying this, but we got a lot of things coming in the works. Um, I
We
actually
do.
I actually just did a solo podcast the other night that I recorded. It was about Eminem's album ranking, but I don't know when I'm going to drop that. I might re-record that or not, but that'll definitely be coming soon. Joe could speak a little more to other things that are coming. I don't know exactly when, but we got a lot of things to look forward to. So
Yeah. And we have, what is it? You're not going to be around for a bit, so I have plenty of. We're not going to be recording stuff in the next couple days, so I have plenty of time to start uploading stuff.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Tune in for some of our other content, or just tune in next week for week 13. See you then.
All righty.